Hello, my friends. I am Peymon Mottahedeh, the president of Freedom Law School, which I created in 1996. Tonight, I will cover the topic that's in the news. IRS has announced that it intends to hire about 3,700 more people. Here we are in September 2023. What does that mean to you? Is the IRS going to come after you or leave you alone? We'll discuss that topic and what you can do to keep these thieves off of your back. First, let's look at the news, folks, that we're seeing on my screen. As I said, it's all over the news. Coming out, IRS wants to hire 3,700 new people to audit the wealthy. Here's Washington Times. Here's the Fox Business. They call them to crack down on wealthy tax cheats, okay? And then Forbes says they're doing this to ramp up focus on millionaires and large corporations. Which, by the way, Forbes is the most accurate of all these news sources because here's the actual IRS official news release that says they're looking to hire employees nationwide to help expand compliance for large corporations and complex partnerships. That's right. They want to go after large corporations and partnerships, not you, the average American. That's the good news. And that's why experienced accountants are encouraged to apply for revenue positions. That's right. Because these experienced accountants are the ones that may be able to look at large corporations and complex partnership arrangements. Well, let's go. First, folks, I got to show you. As always, I love to rely on government's own official websites and reports that tell it to you if you simply pay attention. The truth is there hidden. So here it is from Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, TICTA, the official auditors of the U.S. Treasury in August 2023. In this report, they say these words. Over 43,000 employees separated from the IRS between fiscal years 2019 and 2022. Wow. Folks, that's a lot. As a result, IRS had an 8.5% 3-year average attrition rate, people leaving at the end of 2022, folks. That is a lot. 3,000 employees. You see, folks? However, the IRS hired new employees at the rate that increased its overall labor force from about 76,000 employees at the end of 19 to 83,000 roughly employees at the end of 2022. But folks, here's the thing about it. You can hire people off the street. Anybody can hire. It's another thing to train that person to make sure they know anything what to do rather than just simply collecting a paycheck, right? So let's continue on, folks. And you see why this is all going on, this hiring, right? IRS anticipates hiring 12,000 new employees to replace attrition losses as well as an additional 13,700 new employees. In April 2022, the IRS Commissioner testified before Congress, folks, that the IRS will need to hire an additional 52,000 employees over the next 6 years just to maintain its current staffing levels. Wow, that's right. They have to hire 52,000 employees just to maintain its current staffing levels because they have roughly about 80,000 employees. They lost about half of that in 3 years, 43,000 employees. Yep, folks, that is not a picture of a successful organization that keeps its people and they stay and learn and get better and better and more competent. No, that's a picture of an organization that hires people off the street and they're just collecting a paycheck for doing very little. So let's go further on this thing. And here's another report from TICTA. The IRS needs to leverage the most effective training for revenue agents examining high-income, taxpayer people, tax filers. Look at this. This is large business and international. LBNI is large business and international, and SB, SE is small business self-employed divisions. Okay, look at this, folks. On this revenue agent staffing level comparison, at large business and international division, okay, by end of 19, 20, and 2023, okay, they had a 4.3% drop from over 3,040 to 2,900 level of employees. However, small business owners, they went at 2019 from about 4,750 employees down to about 4,200 employees. That's over 10% drop. Yes, already in 3 years. That hurts. Okay? But guess what? Large corporations are very difficult and complex to audit. Tax return for large corporations on the average about 6,000 pages. Just a tax return. How do you even understand that? That's a big complex book for you to try to audit, right? So here we go to this other June 2023 report from Treasury auditors, okay? Planning efforts to hire employees who conduct audits of high earners and large business could be improved because they're failing at auditing large corporations, folks. The biggest 1,000 corporations, the Googles and Facebooks of the universe, folks, the big oil companies, these guys have very complex operations. They need really trained, experienced people to do the job with these entities' audits, right? So here's what the report says. Due to decrease in its budget, the IRS's enforcement functions, full-time equivalent or FTE employees have declined 30% from approximately 50,000 in year 2010 to approximately 35,000 in 2021. Wow, that's a big drop. The chart you see on this page, that's exactly what it shows. Okay, that's a big drop from 50,000 to 35,000. And they say that this reduced full-time equivalent employees may affect the IRS's ability to maintain sufficient audit coverage of entities and individuals, contributing the most to the tax gap. Tax gap is what they say the IRS should be collecting, but it's not, because people are not paying what they confess they owe. People underreported income, they lied and cheated on the tax return, or simply didn't file because they're not required to file income tax, like me and 98% of you out there, folks, right? So it also limits the IRS's efforts to collect the taxes that taxpayers acknowledge they owe but have not paid. Think about that, folks. IRS cannot even collect from people that acknowledge they admit and confess on 1040 income tax confession forms that they owe these taxes, but they simply do not have the money to pay the IRS. You see, that's a big problem for the IRS. And as you see here, folks, this is from our website. We have this from a taxpayer advocate service, this chart that shows IRS's levies, liens, and seizures for years 2010 through 2021. And you see here that these lines, the top line, the dark green line is levies, taking your bank account and paycheck. For 2010 and 11, okay, it was about 3.7 million IRS levies. And look how it's gone down over 10 years. 2021, and the bottom left is dropped to only about $300,000. That's a crash, folks. Yes, so losing all these people, as they say, it does affect, okay? Even people that acknowledge they owe the IRS but have not paid. They're leaving, folks. People that confess they owe the IRS but cannot pay a loan. I think that answers many of the questions you guys have had about this, right? You owe the IRS, But guess what? IRS is unable to come after a vast majority of you. Okay, so here we are. Now let's go to this chart. Okay, and this other report shows that IRS is in the process of hiring employees to increase audit coverage of large business. And GWH, I think, is those giant wealthy people. Yes, right, wealthy people. So they are focusing on these very, very, very rich people. Okay. Now here's another report of Treasury auditors on August of 2023. Okay, they want to examine high-income taxpayers. Right, they need to leverage the most effective training for revenue agents. Training is critical. You cannot just hire people, folks, and throw them in there. You got to train them to be knowledgeable. IRS is losing its people, are retiring. The number one reason employees are leaving the IRS because they're retiring. They're just too old, 65, 70. How long do you keep these old people around? They must slowly do some things, part-time. You hold on to them. Eventually they have to leave, or they get sick, right? Or simply pass away, folks. That's just the reality of life. So here this report I just showed you says this in its introduction, okay? They want to assess the IRS's strategy to train employees hired specifically to conduct audits of high earners and large businesses that underreport income. Yep, corporations that underreport income. Big entities that file but cheat. Guess what kind of corporation or businesses they're not coming after? Businesses and corporations that simply do not file a 1040 income tax confession trap form. Yes, IRS basically leaves corporations, partnerships, LLCs, trust, any entity that doesn't file, they leave you alone. They focus on those that file and underreport income. Yep, that's what their focus is on. Now here you see revenue agent hiring for year 2021 to 2023 as of March, and it's going down. Now they have different grades, folks, of government service. They use GS as abbreviation. So the higher number of government service number, the more experienced, talented you are. So in this chart you see GS. So on the top left you see general schedule, grade. Low grades are GS 5, 7, and 9. Mid grade is GS 11 and 12. And high is GS 13 and 14. Here's a large business and international division on the center columns. And on the right column you see small business and self-employed division, okay, for small business people. So look at the year 2021 to 23 on the big corporations, right? Look at these numbers are crashing. All the numbers are going down, either zero to begin with or high. Look at how the mid-grade people are zero. IRS has very little mid-grade people to go after big corporations, and the high people hiring is extremely low, from 254 to 15. Wow, that is a crash. 254, 215 within just about 2 years. How about small business self-employed division, years 21 through 23, okay, from 240 down to 19, 258 to 0, 106 to 0, 2 years in a row. Folks, they are not hiring people nowhere close to what they need. In fact, you can see, folks, the total revenue agent hires from 313 to 15, from 604 to 19. That is a crash. Folks, you can't just hire people, let them sit there, drink coffee, okay, and don't do nothing. You got to train them, assuming they're half intelligent to begin with, which most IRS employees are not, okay? So here we go. Let's look at this, another one, the attrition, again, for years 21 through 23, okay? And again, We got for years 21, 22, and 23, large business international division for mega corporations and self-employed small business division. Okay, again, the numbers are continuing to go down every year. Yep, look at that. On the bottom right, okay, they had the GS 13, 14 experienced people. Okay, they went from 346 to 7 on the right. 7, folks, that's almost nothing. That is terrible for the IRS. They simply cannot function effectively, even close to effectively, with those numbers of people. You see, and this is a classic. Yes, that's why this one is on our website. This is the best of all the reports. Is right here. Look at this one, okay? September 2017, a significantly reduced automated substitute for return program negatively affected collection and filing compliance. That's right. Basically, folks, the IRS has deliberately chosen to leave income tax non-filers alone by over 99%. It's shocking, but it's true. Look at this chart, figure 6 from that report. Okay, the top is the figure 6 that talks about the circles on the top left area. I'll put them in the bottom, and the circle on the right, it's at the bottom center. Okay, now look at these numbers. Basically, this shows that they used to come after non-filers, repeat non-filers like me, about 1 million people per year. That's out of, folks, about 70 to 80 million non-filers. They came out of maybe 1 million. That's 1 out of 70 or 1 out of 80 people. That was when they were good. IRS was trying to do something. Actually, they sent only some, usually harmless, requests for tax return letters. That was called going after them. Dumb, computer-generated language letters, right? Look at the bottom. Now, the circle on the right side is made big at the bottom center. That's only about 1,000 repeat non-filers IRS came after in 2016. Near zero. This is really a 99.9% drop of IRS going after non-filers. They're leaving you alone if you simply stop. If you stop filing and stay not filing, don't put the rope around your neck. And this other Treasury report says clearly in May of 2020 that high-income non-filers owing billions of dollars are not being worked by the IRS, which means that low or average income non-filers are completely left alone. Even high-income ones, they're not coming after, right? Well, let's get more specific. I put this on our website, this report part, the key parts, right here. And basically says that the IRS refuses to go after extremely rich non-filers. U.S. Treasury auditors gave the IRS a list of 100 richest income tax non-filers who each would owe the IRS about $100 million and recommended to the IRS to go after these people for taxes. The IRS is so broken, disorganized, lazy, and irresponsible that the IRS refused to commit to going after these extremely rich, high-income non-filers. You can see the source document, folks, on the page. If you're on our website, here's the relevant page right here. You can freeze frame and read this for yourself. Come back. This is exactly what they said. Now, this is the best part. You got to get the big picture about the IRS. This 1-minute clip tells the story of the IRS versus the American people. Let's play it for you all, okay? Here we go.
What? You're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Yep. Those puny ants are you, the American people, compared to the IRS, the tax court judges, the big banks, corporations, the politicians, the swamp, right? You afraid of them? Guess what? There's way too many of us for them to come after. You gotta get that, folks. Way too many of us, and not enough of them. And if you, the American people, ever figure that out, that we outnumber them, way, by the millions to 1, there goes their way of life. You're no longer a slave. You get back your freedoms if we figure it out, folks. Right? So I'm going to give you, folks, at our website, you want to go to freedomlawschool.org. That's where you regain your power and freedom. Yes. And you'll never again voluntarily have to pay the Washington, D.C. swamp legally and safely, guaranteed if you choose. It's your choice. Folks, step 1 starts right here. Follow the law that based on the official legal websites of U.S. government, no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income taxes. And this 9-minute video is the start of you opening your eyes. There's a few short videos you want to see below that, okay? And more detailed videos of them is right below them. And then, folks, step 3 after step 2 is very critical too, because step 3 is you realizing that the IRS is mostly bluff. Yes, we outnumber them 100,000 to 1 or better. So, folks, on this page, you'll see amazing things, okay? Even way back in '69, a U.S. senator said that an official of the IRS told him that if the taxpayers of this country ever discover that the IRS operates at 90% bluff, the entire system will collapse. Folks, this was even way back then. It was like that. There were 63 million non-filers back in 1996. Are they in prison? Have their paychecks, all these people being taken away by the IRS? Of course not. There are around 80 million non-filers now. See, not filing is your key to freedom, folks. Quit putting the rope around your neck. Okay? Folks, IRS collects about $340 for every filer that files a 1040 tax confession form. But the IRS collects $2 from every filer that does not file a 1040 tax confession form. If you were the IRS, which category of people would you go after? Clearly, you go after people that file the confession form. It's far more profitable. Folks, look at this. There are only about 31 U.S. tax court judges in the whole United States. It is absolutely impossible for them to go after 80 million innocent non-filers. Look at this picture, folks. This is a stadium with 75,000 capacity population of America, right? About 330 million of us. This means that you would need 4,400 stadiums to make up U.S. population, which means that they have only one tax court judge for 141 full stadiums like this for that judge to rule against you, for the IRS to take your money. Think about that, folks. Over 140 of these stadiums full of people for one tax court judge. If you challenge them, folks, they cannot come after all of us. You gotta recognize that. If you ever figure it out, there goes their way of life. And you get your freedom back, my friends. Yes, like me, you can be free too, if you choose to do so. Yep. So, folks, so anyhow, go to our website at freedomlawschool.org. The answers are there. Folks, I love every one of you, and I want every one of you to be able to live free. Have the opportunity to live free now. But I cannot take the yoke off of your neck. You have to choose to take the yoke of not filing those confession forms off your neck. Don't file. Don't pay the crooks in D.C. anything. Less than 2% of you owe the tax. Citizens and residents of the District of Columbia, federal workers and contractors and pensioners. You're not one of them? You owe zero income tax to that foreign government in the District of Criminals, Washington, D.C. So, choose freedom, prosperity, peace, confidence, happiness, joy, and love. Go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, folks, and folks, continue your journey to freedom, and let's work together and have America become a free country once again.